I got into the house pretty early yesterday, so I didn't have to live stream. So on Thursdays, I try to get into bed as early as possible because I finally have the opportunity to be able to get into bed early, wake up in the morning, get my workout in, get some stuff taken care of, and then prepare for Fight Club because we got Fight Club tonight. So make sure you tap into that. And tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And so I was going over my stuff, right? Now, I got a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, right? And I formally switched over from American Express. And a lot of you are familiar with that. So I had an American Express Platinum and I switched over to the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, right? And I was trying to figure it out. And then I don't know if my phone just always is listening to me or what, but I'm listening, I'm on my phone or whatever, and I'm scrolling through, and then I jump on TikTok, and I see this chick that's talking about her credit card debt, right? And so I'm having this conversation with myself, and I'm like, yo, why credit cards are for poor people in the middle class? It has to be. Credit cards have to be for poor people in the middle class. It's no other way for me to break this out. And again, y'all are more than welcome to be able to come up here and debate me or say whatever it is that you want to say or whatever, so on and so forth. But it has to be. It has to be for poor people or the middle class because it makes no sense whatsoever. Let me share with you what it is that I see, and then I'll break it down for you as to why it is that I see it that way. All right? Or maybe I should just share my screen with you and tell you why. So let me share my screen with you first, and then I'll show you why I came to the conclusion that credit cards got to be for poor people and for the middle class. That's the only reason. It's the only way that they can make money. It's the only way that credit card companies can make money. Let me share with you. And again, y'all are more than welcome to be able to come up here and hold me accountable as a result of it. But let me share my screen. So this is my screen right here, right? I just switched over this year. I literally just switched over to the Chase Sapphire Reserve a little later in the year. I think it might have been spring. Might have been spring or it might have been, I don't remember. It was like spring, summer is when I switched over. A lot of y'all were on the live stream when I said, hey, I'm getting rid of my American Express, but I got the Chase Sapphire Reserve now, right? And so if you look over here where it says earnings, I've earned close to 600,000 points, which depending on how you redeem them is the equivalent of like between $9,000 and $13,000 of how you redeem them. One of the ways in which I was able to use my points was when I went over to Tokyo and I stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, I think it cost me like 12 or 13,000 points. And then I just redeemed some more in order to get the hotel that I'm going to be meeting y'all at. My hotel that I'm going to be staying at when I go over there to DC or whatever. And so the things that I can't write off or the things that I'm not writing off for, if I just want to save some money in my budget, I save it. So the interesting part about it, though, is that I'm using this card, right? And I don't use my credit card in the same way that everybody else does because I have to have a credit card in order to get a rental car. I got to have a credit card in order to get a hotel. I got to have a credit card in order to do certain things, right? And so when you think about it, even when you're talking about, it says 3 points for travel purchases, the overwhelming majority of what I've used my credit card for is travel. I use it for business. I do all of that, right? And see, I see somebody in the chat, Data Star says, nah, AD, credit cards is free money with points. Why would I ever just use a debit card with no points? Okay, so let's have that conversation, right? I have never paid one dot of interest at all. You know why? Because I only use it when I'm taking care of business. And then on top of that, on top of the fact that I only use it when I'm taking care of business, the other part of that is I have the available money and the resources to pay off the entirety of it when I use it, right? So is credit cards a bad thing? For the overwhelming majority of people, it is. That's why credit card debt is at 1 trillion. And so when I see Dana start saying that, you saying it in the idealistic phase, right? You're not saying it based off of what the reality is for the majority of people. So people that I know, every single person that I know, right, that has a excessive amount of resources, that have a high net worth, that have a high lot, a lot of money, they use their credit card in order to travel for business. They pay off the entirety of it. You know what I'm saying? Before the statement date is, right, or before the due date is, and they pay off the entire balance, and they're not using it as an excuse to buy more than they normally would. They're not being savvy, taking advantage of because of the marketing department. They basically giving me money. They're giving me $10, $20, $30,000 a year because I spend so much money. I am a diamond medallion member on Delta. I fly and I spend a majority of my time when I'm going over to other places, right? I spend a lot of money traveling, vlogging, doing real estate and all of this stuff, right? And so it don't hurt me. It actually helps me. And everybody that I know that has a huge net worth or this, makes a lot of money, they're using it for stuff that they was going to already use it on anyway. And they need the credit card in order to be able to fly or travel or get a rental car or whatever. And so because we never, ever, ever carry a balance, I'm basically getting $10, $20, $30,000 in benefits and redemptions, right? When I get, if I was to buy my personal iPhone, I wouldn't buy my personal iPhone with money. I could literally redeem this for Apple. Think about it. My personal expenses is being basically taken care of in points because I spend so much, and it's only beneficial to me because I spend so much. So when you see a regular person and they're using a credit card and they say, well, Anton, you use it for points or whatever. You don't even spend enough money to actually make it make sense for you. You got to basically save up points for the next 2 to 3 years in order to get the flight that you want. But because I use mine so much for business, because I'm using it for things that I'm already using it for business, then when I go to Tokyo, my stay at the Ritz-Carlton for the next 9-10 days is free. My iPhones are free. My redemptions when it comes to my hotel rooms, when I want to go out and I want to take my chick out to a staycation or we want to do something that's unrelated to business, is free. And so all of the people that's making a whole lot of money is basically getting everything. It's like rich people are getting richer every day. Rich people just getting richer every single day. Credit cards. So then when I start to make that make sense, I say, oh, okay. And then I looked at the video. And so let me share with you the video that came across my timeline. I mean, my redemptions, I ain't even had this card for probably no more than 4 or 5 months. I already made $600,000, $444,000 in redemptions. I got $17,000 in penny. So you know what I'm spending every month. I'm spending crazy. Like my expenses related to business is insane, right? So everything is a business transaction. And then when I want to make a personal purchase or I want to make a personal redemption, I get my personal stuff for free because I spend so much money. But it only benefits you if you decide that if you are generating a lot of revenue, if you're spending a lot of money on business related expenses, and you have the type of assets and resources to where you never carry a balance. I don't even care what the interest rates on all the cards. I've never checked the interest rate on this Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Not one time have I ever checked the interest rate. Not one time have I ever checked the interest rate. You know why? Because they will never get a dime out of me. They will never get a dime out of me from a business perspective. You will never get one dime out of me. I'm gonna be reading y'all super chat shortly. Now let me show you the other side of the coin, right? So this is the video that showed up on my timeline. I saved it, I downloaded it, and I wanted to share it with you to show you what other people, honestly, other people are going through on a regular basis. Let me share it with you.
Come with me to figure out how much debt I'm in. We'll start with my lowest credit card. That would be my Discover card, $606.77. I've been paying that one off for the past, I don't know how long, probably a year. I'm almost paid that off, so I'm pretty proud of that. Now my Chase card has $5,000. I keep fucking saying that. My Chase card has $2,594.11. And that brings the highest credit card to $3,280.11, which is my Citi card. That brings the grand total of credit cards to $6,480.99, just shy of that round number. A lot easier with Credit Karma, so I'm just going to log into that. Here we've got Credit Karma. So now we have my loans. So first loan I have, that would be my personal loan because I was already in debt and I already used a personal loan to pay off the debt. Just got into more debt. Can't get another personal loan. Probably a good thing. I have $1,461 left on that personal loan. And $16 left on another one that I pretty much paid off. And then on my car loan, that's a whole story. So in February last year, totaled my car. It was a weather-related incident. I live in New England. It was really icy out, and I lost control of my car and went right into a guardrail. So that got me $8,593 into an auto loan, which is my most hated loan. I really hate that one. It's a lot of money. It's $180 a month, which isn't as much as most people's car loans.
Now think about what she's saying right here, right? It's taking her some time in order to get out of debt, and it's taking her some time, but she's continuing to be in a rat race because she's already continuing to be under duress. And the entire time, think about it, the biggest tax that you have is the interest. It ain't even the amount of money that they're taking out of your paycheck. The biggest, you're in a race to the bottom as a poor person or as a person that stands in the middle class. Because what they've done is they've gamified credit, and they use people like me, right? Because they say, well, we're going to entice you with all of the point system, and you can redeem it for flights and credit and buy stuff at Apple and all of this stuff, right? And so they sell you on that. But here's the reality of it. They're using the fact that I'm able to jump on the internet and show you my bank statements and show you my redemptions, and they're banking on me continuing to do that in order to motivate you to then get a credit card and then say that, oh, well, listen, you can do it too as long as you pay off your balance. But that's not what's going to happen because we're over $1 trillion in credit card debt. That ain't even got nothing to do with auto loans. That don't have nothing to do with personal loans. That don't have nothing to do with mortgage. That don't have nothing to do with student loans. The United States of America alone is over $1 trillion in credit card debt. So when I see people in the chat and they say, well, Anton, credit cards are actually a good thing. For who? For me or for you? Because the people that's trying to figure it out, they keep asking Biden for student loan forgiveness. They've been paying an exorbitant amount of, shout out to my dog Jay Whitfin, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. They've been paying an exorbitant amount, and I'm going to open up the chat at the end of the show for anybody that disagree with me. They've been paying an exorbitant amount of interest just to gamify or be gamified, as far as them selling you on the idea that you need to have a credit card, and you don't even understand how credit cards work. You don't understand that you have to have a long history with it. You don't even understand that it's your payment history. It's also your credit card utilization rate. It's a lot of different factors that go into your credit score, which then gamifies the ability for you to continue to leverage that credit to buy things that you don't need, being enticed by the marketing that comes along with them understanding your psyche, and then you looking at videos from me saying that how it is that I'm redeeming my points in order to get things that other people would normally pay for. But the fine print is that they never make a dime off of me, but they are leveraging the marketing tools to make a bunch of money off of y'all. So it's a whole lot of little people, and I'm not saying y'all specifically, but just in general. It's a whole lot of middle class and little people that are then utilizing credit cards, and the stats and the data and the statistics prove it, being enticed by the idea that they need good credit but don't even understand how credit is being leveraged by people that have resources in order to continue to level up and then raise up their net worth. And then you pay an exorbitant amount of interest, often at times above 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25%. Some people are paying 29% interest on credit card payments, personal loan payments, student loans, and all of this other type of stuff, with the illusion that they're coming out ahead before they start to get into it in the point system that they're then going to leverage, as far as Chase, American Express, Capital One, whoever it is that can give you a credit card. And they're making an exorbitant amount of money just off of loaning you money to do things that you otherwise wouldn't have did if you had to budget effectively. You are literally being finessed by not only credit card people, the credit card companies, but rich people. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. I have never, ever, I am never going to pay any interest on that Chase Sapphire Reserve card. I don't even carry a balance from month to month. And I don't even care about credit because I'm not even leveraging credit or using credit to do anything that I'm doing from a business perspective other than get it and use it for the things that I have to use it for based off of the requirements from the rental car companies, from the hotel companies, and all of that other type of stuff. And then I'll take advantage of all of the perks. I get all of the free stuff that you would normally pay your regular money for. So you go in, trade your time for money, and then you go and finance an iPhone. Meanwhile, they giving it to me for free. And then I'm supposed to market it to you. A lot of people wonder, Anton, why don't you talk about credit cards? How come you don't tell us how it is that we can use that? Because I don't think that most people are responsible enough to use the credit cards, nor do they spend enough money for it to actually matter as far as the amount of fees that they're paying for the point systems. Don't you know that the Points Guy and all of these other companies and all of this other type of stuff, they're literally being paid and incentivized for you to click on that link. When you go on Credit Karma, you click on that link. They get a fee when you then get approved or you sign up for this credit card, and then they get blessed as a result of it. They're leveraging them, and they're saying that they're educating you by keeping you gamified to be in this whole credit rat race, and then it's a race to the bottom because she's going to spend the next year of her life, 2 years of her life, 3 years of her life trying to pay off something while also paying the interest for it, and then she's going to find herself right back into it the minute that she crashed her car because she got to go and finance another car at a 7-8% interest rate. The only people that's getting finessed is the people that's already getting overtaxed as a result of it.